Hey guys, so I recently did a huge declutter for 2019, the new year, and I just wanted to show you palettes that I went through and 10 palettes that I'm keeping and 10 palettes that I am decluttering. So let's get into it. This one is the Desert Oasis, and this one is so stunning. I don't know if you can see it very well because of the packaging, but it is so pretty. This blue right here, I just like to swatch all my blues next to each other. Look at that. That is so pretty. It looks wet. And all of the shimmer shades have that look, and the matte shades are so pretty. But I was looking through my collection and I have so many palettes that I absolutely love that are neutral with the pop of blue like this one has. And I just don't think I need it, and I really want this to go to a home that's gonna get a lot of good use. So I'm gonna give this to one of my friends because I know that she's gonna love this. So I'm gonna declutter this one. Next palette I have here is my Laura Lee Los Angeles Nudie Patootie palette. And I think this is so pretty. I know that it's neutral, and I was talking about my goals to incorporate more color, but this one is just a staple palette. I feel like this is the palette that I'm gonna use on my wedding day. It's so pretty, especially, I know everybody says this, but this color right here, Jaybird, is like butter. Look at that. It's so pretty. This whole palette is full of colors like that, and I love the packaging too. I know it's really big, but it just feels so good, and it just looks so sleek and like pretty. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. Next palette I have here is my big ol' Morphe 35O palette, and it's pretty. I mean, it's colors that I use, but see, the way that I feel is if this palette were just this corner right here with these 9 shades, I would be happy. I would reach for it. I would probably use it on a daily basis, especially in the fall, because I love these 2 oranges right here. I love to wear orange in the fall, but because it has all of these shades, like look at those. I don't even know what the difference is between these 3 shades or any of these, honestly. They're so similar, and it makes me not reach for this palette because it's so big. And every time I look to it, I just think like, oh, that's overwhelming. I don't know what I would do with it. So it makes me sad, but I just know that I'm not gonna reach for it. And if I were to get a palette with this kind of color scheme, I think I would rather pick up the 3502 next time. So I'm gonna declutter this one. Next palette is my Faced Gingerbread palette. And this one is super cute. I don't think I've used it yet, but I love it. I think it's so pretty. And I love that it has this bright pink here and some golds and this frosty shimmery white color. I don't really have a lot of color schemes like this in my collection, and I think it's really unique. And also I really like the names. So Hot Toddy, Sugar Daddy, Gingerbread, I think they're so cute. And so I know that once I declutter a lot of my palettes and I get some space in my collection, I know I'm gonna reach for this one a lot. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. The Best Year Ever 2018. This came out holiday 2017, and it was supposed to be like their calendar like for next year. It came with a little planner for 2018, so that's why it's called that. And I thought it was really pretty when I got it last year. I think it's a super cool color scheme. It's definitely more dark colors, which I don't normally go for, which I think is why I haven't reached for it a ton. But I just am a sucker for a good holiday palette, and I like to pick up all of them because of their names. They're so cute. Snow Day, Spiked Cider, Deck the Malls. It's so cute, but I think this might be the one that I get rid of because this one I just got this year. It's the new Too Faced holiday palette Dream Queen for holiday 2018, and I was looking, and these colors just speak to me more. I think that they're more on the pink mauve side, and the shimmers are actually better in this palette. I don't know if I can get a good comparison for you guys. So I'm running out of room on my arm. Here's this one. I don't know if you can really see it very well, but let me find a similar, well, there's not really a similar color in this palette, but I don't know if you can just tell, but it's just more shimmery and it just stands out more. And I think there's no point in holding on to two really big holiday palettes. I'm not gonna reach for both of them. I'm gonna reach for one, and this is gonna be the one that I'm gonna reach for. So I'm gonna hold on to this one, and I'm gonna declutter this one. This palette is Anasazi Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I really like the color scheme. I just haven't gotten a lot of use out of it. I bought it because of all the hype around it, but I still want to give it some tries and see what looks like I can make with it, because the color scheme is really pretty. I don't know, I just haven't really gotten around to using it as much as I wish that I would have. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. Next palette that I have is the Victoria's Secret All Eyes on You palette. It's very reflective. And I was super excited when I bought this because I remember a long time ago I had used the Victoria's Secret makeup and it was really good. But this palette was just really disappointing, especially this color right here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's super crumbly. And it was just a disappointing palette, so I think I'm gonna pass this along. This is my Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. This I loved. I didn't use it that much, but I loved it. And I have a special memory with it because I wore it to my first Taylor Swift concert. I think it was the Red concert. But I just noticed as I've grown with makeup and my collection has grown, also I just realized that I just don't reach for it ever. I haven't reached for it for a couple years, and for me that probably means I should probably get rid of it. So it is going to be decluttered. Alright, next palette I have is the Jewvias Place The Masquerade Mini by Jewvias. And this palette I really like. I don't think I've used it since I got it. I got it last year, maybe towards the end of the year. But I'm really excited to get into some of these more colorful shadows up here. They are so good. Look at that pigment. But yeah, and this year my goal is to experiment more with colors, and I think this palette will be great for that, and so I'm gonna hold on to that. Next palette I have here is the Colorpop Cute AF palette, or Yes Please, I'm not sure which is the name. But it's really pretty color scheme, and I remember I really wanted the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, and how this was a dupe for that one. I bought this one and I haven't used it as much as I should, so I really want to start using it more, and I'm thinking maybe in the summertime I'm gonna probably get more into it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna hold on to this one. The next palette I have here is the Too Faced Life's a Festival palette, and I think it's so cute. I love the Too Faced packaging. This is freaking adorable. But my issue is just the colors don't really speak to me. Look at that holographic. It's so pretty, but I don't know. They just never seemed as vibrant as I wish they would have been. I mean, they are pretty. I don't know. I really want to get more into color, but this kind of color just, I don't know. It doesn't really, it's just not as bright as the colors that I want to get into. So like the Jewvias Place palette, that one had amazing colors that I just get really excited about, and this I don't really get excited about. So I think I am going to declutter it because I can't keep it just because of the cute packaging. So the next palette I have is the Soph X Revolution makeup palette. You can probably see my little phone in there. And ooh, and this is what she looks like inside, and I really like the colors. I love this color and this yellow color and this silver color, but I'm sure maybe you can see why I want to get rid of it. So this color here, Lakes, when I ordered it off of the Makeup Revolution website, it took several weeks to get to me, and then when it did, this color was broken and it was all over the palette. I had to clean it. It took me forever, and it just kind of gave me a bad taste in my mouth of the palette, so I just never used it. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is kind of in the other colors, so there's like a little brown in each color and it just makes it look not very appealing. So I am gonna declutter this. Maybe eventually I will get a new one because I know that they sell it at Ulta now. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. So the next palette I have is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, and I think the packaging is stunning. It's so pretty. And I used to love this palette. I got so excited every time I would look at it. And then ever since I made my resolution to start using more color, I looked at this palette and I realized that it's just a lot of neutrals. I think maybe on the camera it looks a little more vibrant than it is, but I don't know. I have colors that maybe have a pop of purple in it. This color is just hard to work with because it is just loose glitter. And I have had this for a couple years and I probably only reached for it maybe like a handful of times. So I'm gonna declutter this one and probably give it to a friend, and so it'll go to a good home where it'll get lots of good use. So the next palette that I have here is the Dose of Colors Desi X Katie. And this was from their first collab with Dose of Colors. And I think it's super pretty. I know that it's just a quad. I probably have these colors in other palettes, and I was actually gonna declutter it a while back, but then I used this color, I think it was, and it was so pretty. I got so many compliments that day because it doesn't look like much, but when you put it on your eyes, it is so sparkly. I don't even think you guys can tell here, but it's beautiful. So I hold on to this palette, even though I guess I don't get a ton of use out of it. Sometimes I do like to reach for that color, so I'm gonna hold on to this one. Next palette I have here is my Urban Decay Born to Run palette, and I gotta admit that I wanted this because the packaging is so pretty. Look at that. I love all of those pictures on there. And then it's just a nice sturdy palette. It feels nice in my hands, luxurious. Look at these colors. They're so pretty. I know that maybe it's kind of more on the neutral side, but they just speak to me, and something about this palette just really gets me excited, and I really like having it in my collection, so I'm gonna hold on to this one. So the next palette is my other Makeup Revolution Soph X palette, and I feel kind of bad about this one, but I think I might get rid of this palette also, because in comparison to my Urban Decay Born to Run, I feel like they're both kind of similar. They're both like neutrals with maybe like a little bit of like jewel tone colors, but I'm more likely to reach for my Urban Decay palette rather than this one. So I think I'm gonna declutter it because looking at those colors just don't really inspire me right now. So gonna go to a good home. Next palette I have here is my BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil Rio edition. The packaging is so cute. I love this, but it just didn't really do it for me. I was hoping that this would be my one-stop color palette that I would reach to every time I wanted some color, but they were kind of like the Too Faced palette for me, where they just weren't as vibrant as I wanted them to be. I think I'm looking for more of like bright, like neon colors, and those, I don't know, they just seem a little more watered down. I mean, they're very pretty, but this just isn't a palette that I'm gonna reach for, so I think I can send it to a better home. So that one is going in the declutter pile. Next up here is my Alomar Cosmetics Reina del Caribe palette. I'm probably not saying that right, but I do like this. Even though I haven't reached for it a bunch, I really like the color scheme, and I think that in the summertime or when I go back to Florida, I think that I'll have a lot of fun with this palette, making some like blue looks or adding some orange. Let me swatch these blues so you guys can see how pretty they are. Look at that. Those are gorgeous. So I think I'm gonna hold on to this one and see what looks like and create for the summer. Alright, next up here is my Kylie Cosmetics Summer Palette. I'm not quite sure of the exact name, but that's how I know of it. And I remember when it came out, people were really disappointed that it didn't have a yellow in it because it was kind of advertised with bananas, and so people thought there would be a pop of yellow, but it looked more like this. And I actually like that. I love a good bronzy, maybe like some oranges and a red.